Hi. In this lesson, we'll be learning how to write the equation of a line. Many different situations can be described by a linear equation. Remember the graph we saw for the tuition prices? We saw that we could use a line to describe that trend. So it is useful to know and understand how to find equations for lines. In order to find the equation of a line, we need two pieces of information. We need the slope of the line, and we need to know a point on the line. Once we have those two pieces of information, we can write the slope-intercept form for the equation of the line. Y is equal to m times x plus b. And remember, in this form, the constant m represents the slope of the line, and the constant b represents the y-intercept for the line. The slope of the line tells you about its steepness and its direction. The y-intercept of the line tells you where that line crosses the y-axis. We're going to do 3 examples, and in each example you'll have different information about the line that's given to you. You need to use that information to find your slope and your y-intercept. Let's begin. Find the equation of the line that passes through the point 0, 10 with a slope of -3. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. We're told that this line passes through the point 0, 10, so we do know a point on the line. We're also told that the line has a slope of -3, so we do know the slope. We can get started finding the equation for the line. M is given to us. There it is. So that part was easy. B is our y-intercept. And if you look carefully at this point, remember 0, 10 is a point that's on the y-axis because its x-coordinate is 0. So in actuality, 10 is also our y-intercept. So we were really given both pieces of information to start with. This is the easiest that this kind of problem will ever be. You already have the slope given to you, and you already have the y-intercept given to you. You just plug them in. So the equation for our line is y equals -3 times x plus 10. And we're done. Let's go ahead and graph that line. Our y-intercept is 10. And we can use the slope to find more points on the line. Remember, a slope of -3 means we move down 3 and to the right 1 in order to find more points on the line. Down 3 and to the right 1. Let's do it one more time. Down 3 and to the right 1. This point has coordinates 2, 4. And this point has coordinates 1, 7. And we'll draw a line through the points. I'll try to make it as straight as I can. And there's our line. Let's move to our second example. This example says, find the equation of the line that passes through the point 1/2, -7 with a slope of 8. Write the equation in standard form. Remember, standard form looks like this. AX plus BY is equal to C, where A, B, and C are constants. We're going to start by getting our equation in slope-intercept form, and then from there we'll rewrite it in the standard form. So let's look at what we're given. We have the slope of the line. We also have a point that we know is on the line, 1/2, -7. That means that when x is equal to 1/2, we know that y is equal to -7. So let's find the equation of our line. We're already given the slope. Now we need to find the y-intercept using the slope and our known point. We do that by plugging them in to our y = mx plus b form. Y is -7, m is 8, x is 1/2, and b is the thing we're trying to find. So we've plugged in all the information that we know, and now we can solve this equation for b. Here we go. On the left we have -7. On the right we multiply 8 times 1/2. 8 is the same as 8/1. The 2 cancels out, and we're left with 4 times 1 on top, 1 times 1 on bottom, which is just 4. Which makes sense. 1/2 of 8 is 4. Alright, now we need to subtract the 4 from both sides. On the left, -7 minus 4 gives us -11. And on the right, 4 minus 4 is gone, and we're left with b. So b is equal to -11. Now that we have m and b, we can plug them into our slope-intercept form. Y is equal to m, which is 8, times x, plus b, which is -11. And we can just write this as -11. There's our slope-intercept form. We want to finish by writing this equation in standard form. To get this equation in standard form, we need to rewrite it so that both our term with the x and our term with the y are on the same side. In order to do that, we subtract the 8x from both sides. Now we have -8x plus 1y is equal to -11. And that's our standard form. For some problems, you may need to write your standard form so that the coefficient of x is a positive number. If that's the case, just multiply both sides of the equation by -1, and that'll change every sign for every term. For this lesson, we'll leave our standard form looking like this. Now let's go ahead and graph this line also. It's easier to graph when we're looking at the slope-intercept form. Our y-intercept is -11, which we really don't have a spot for, but we'll do the best we can. And then our slope is +8, so we'll go up 8 and to the right 1. And we'll do it again. And this point has the coordinates 1, -3. This point has the coordinates 2, 5. And it's a slope of 8, so it's a pretty steep line. Hopefully I can hit all the points here. And there's the line. Now, in this example, remember, we were given the slope and we were given a point. The same is true for the first example. We were given the slope and we were given a point. In this last example, we're given 2 points. Find the equation of the line that passes through the points 5, 8 and -2, 4. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. Remember that in order to write our equation in the slope-intercept form, we need to know the slope and we need to know the y-intercept. In the last 2 examples, we were given the slope. In this example, we'll have to find it. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's plug in our coordinates. 4 minus 8 over -2 minus 5. That gives us -4 over -7, which simplifies to +4 over 7. There's our slope. Now we find our y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, we do just what we did before. We plug in the slope that we know, and we plug in one of the points that we know. It doesn't matter which point we plug in. Both of them are on the line, so they both work in the equation. So I'll just pick this one to plug in order to find b. So y is 8, m is 4 over 7, x is 5, and we need to find b. Notice we have to make sure that we plug in the x and y that go together. Alright, let's do the work to find b. On the left side we have 8, and then 4/7 times 5. 5 is the same as 5 over 1. So this gives us the fraction 20 over 7. And now, to get b by itself, we need to subtract 20 over 7 from both sides. Remember, you can do the fraction work by hand, or you can subtract these two in your calculator. 8 minus 20 over 7. 8 is the same as 8 over 1, and we need a common denominator. (56 minus 20 equals 36). So subtracting these two gives us 36 over 7. We've got b. We're ready now to write the slope-intercept form of the equation. Y is equal to m, which is 4 over 7, times x plus b, which is 36 over 7. It would be pretty difficult to try to graph this y-intercept, so in order to graph this line, I'll just go back and use the 2 points that we were given in the first place, 5, 8, and -2, 4. And there's our graph. That's the story on finding the equation of a line. I always like to use slope-intercept form and focus on finding the slope and the y-intercept. You could also use point-slope form to find the equations of your lines, and that's shown to you in a different video. Regardless of which method you like, you still will need to start with the slope and a point that you know is on the line. Sometimes the slope will be given to you, and sometimes you'll have to find that slope.